Hello everyone, welcome to this message. So as our first card today we have the honesty card, and the two cards that come after that are the feline and the undressing of a salad. And as the overall energy we get the ace of chalices, as you can see, which is the card of self-care, sometimes cleansing for me as well, so more like energetic cleansing, me time, right, self-care. And then we also have this, I think it's a Chinese cabbage. And I put underneath, but I can't really remember why that was the case because I created this deck a long time ago. It says illness and pets. So, yeah. So let's see what this is going to be about because that's kind of interesting as well if we connect it with this because the honesty card has a little bit of this green color. Reminds me a little bit of that, like I guess like domestic animals, right? Pets. The feline is actually in. I always see him as a dog for some reason, although he doesn't look like a dog, but like a dog who is ashamed who got away with something, or like you I often see this card as like a you like when a dog has done something wrong and you think you can clearly see that the dog is like trying to sneak away, right? Like it's super obvious, but at the same time, like the dog thinks it's not super obvious, I guess. So yeah, so it's kind of interesting. So it talks about yeah, knowing that you've done something wrong, for example, so it could be like guilt or something. And but I do think usually this talks about someone else, right? Because you're observing it. So maybe someone else who got away with something, but let's just see who did something wrong, right? It's something like that. But the honesty card here, if you look at it in combination with the Chinese cabbage, there's something about perhaps China in and of itself. So I'm just putting it out there, like ancient China. Also, yeah, you are coming back to yourself, but I do think there's something interesting happening here. So it could be, for example, that you are starting to be cleansed by other people's energies, right? Like really uh, become purified, like become completely yourself. Maybe have some time alone. You are you can do some self care, or like you can just be in your own energy, and as a result, your energy is becoming really pure, really purely yourself. And there's something about that. This may pertain to ancient lives pretty much. So there's something about maybe you are starting perhaps to connect to your ancient lives. Could be that. I'm not quite sure yet, but we'll have to see. And then we have this feline here. So let's see the feline. The feline is feeling bad about something, like you did something wrong, right? So someone feels like they did something wrong, and it could have something to do with maybe you becoming um, completely yourself. You becoming maybe your innocence is also becoming very clear. It could be that to the outside world your innocence is becoming quite clear, and it could have something to do with China or like ancient past lives that you are starting to really connect to somehow by yeah, by becoming completely yourself, and like by cleansing yourself of other people's energy, so you're like completely immersed by your own energy. So there's something about that. Yeah. So I also think perhaps like a pet. I think about it much more like in terms of domestication, so that you are like at home, like domesticated, right? In the sense like you are at home. Like you spend a lot of time all by yourself in your home, and you're starting to become energetically very, very pure. So I do think it talks about that this domesticity, like being at home, is causing this is having this cleansing and self-care effect on you. Um, but a pet, of course, doesn't like to go into a bathtub. So maybe you have been perhaps reluctant to go on this journey. Not sure, but you are. It's most definitely a journey where you are becoming purified. You're becoming your innocent self. Your innocence is being proven, perhaps, which is also causing other people to start feeling guilty because your innocence is starting to become proven. So it could have something to do with that. Um, and maybe it's becoming quite obvious, maybe as well. And then we have the undressing of a salad. So interesting first cards today. So this is like navigating an impossible situation. So maybe people are starting to understand that you have been navigating an impossible situation, and I don't think people realized this before, perhaps how impossible this has been for you, or how innocent you actually were as you were navigating an impossible situation. So maybe they're seeing the purity of who you are, the innocence, your real self, your purest self. There's something about that. And it could pertain to your past life that you are starting to connect to. So let's see. And then we have the indie card. And the indie is like someone who has released something in this particular case. It can also sometimes be a card of like that indie is very indecisive, doesn't know what to do next. So maybe as well, maybe people are understanding that you have been having to look at things from all kinds of angles, that things have been quite impossible for you, quite chaotic for you, and that you are now starting to release that perhaps. You are now starting to release that, and you are coming back to yourself, right? Because that's what this card is. No more chaos. You're coming back to yourself, and it also really stands out to me that there is a dark room here, right? So there is nothing but you here, which is also very interesting because it kind of mirrors this card here, um, of like that there's also no one else except for this person, right? Or these people. So this person is also, as you're becoming yourself, this person is confronted with guilt, perhaps feelings of guilt, or feeling like they did something wrong or whatever it may be, right? And they're also, it's because they are alone with themselves, right? Because you are also alone with yourself. So this perhaps causes some reflection, perhaps, or maybe they're seeing you very clearly now, which was not the case before. So and then let's see if we go from the top to the bottom, right? What we get. So let's see. So we have we first have the honesty card, right? Which could also be like the purity of a pet, perhaps, right? It could be like maybe people are seeing that you have the purity of animals, for example, right? That you're very pure, very innocent, and that they are seeing that you're a very pure soul, right? An unconditionally loving soul, a very unconditionally giving soul, very pure. It could be anything, right? No alternative motives, for example. Maybe they're starting to understand that, and that you, yeah, maybe they are starting to understand this because you are releasing the situation, which again makes me think about that these cards are very similar in color. Impossible situation, having to look at things from all kinds of perspectives, being put upside your head, right? Like um, chaos, having to navigate chaos, a chaotic situation. So maybe this is starting to become clear to people that that has been the case as you and this is becoming clear because you are releasing it. So you are releasing having to look at things from all kinds of angles. You are releasing the chaos, maybe also maybe watchful eyes. You're releasing watchful eyes and you're coming back to yourself. So you're, yeah, and now, and this also makes me think about a dog again, right? Like a dog, yeah, coming back to it to itself. So it's very interesting. So both of you are like kind of like dogs coming back to themselves in some kind of way, right? So you had to navigate an impossible situation while a lot of people were watching you, perhaps, while there were a lot of onlookers. May have been very chaotic, very impossible for you to navigate. So there's something to do with that. Maybe you've been multitasking as well, and maybe people didn't realize you were doing so much. And maybe this is becoming clear because your focus, like maybe your focus is clear, maybe you do less on a day, and this is actually clarifying something because it makes me think about the bubbles a little bit in this bath. So this is clarifying something. Also, this is clarifying how you are expressing yourself to the world. So maybe you're coming across much more clearly as a person that you actually are. Um, and maybe a purified voice, maybe as well. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have the Seven of Swords, which is the exit strategy. Makes me think about exiting the Truman Show, pretty much, is this card. So maybe you have found the exit strategy, maybe you've left, and you're also perhaps very proud of yourself as you are doing this. So potatoes makes me think about perhaps being able to peel potatoes, but I think it's much more than that because for me, I don't know if I intended this when I create this card, but it talks about a narcissistic person who was constantly trying to control the fact that I was supposed to peel potatoes with like a potato peel like that instead of like a knife, and I really wanted to use a knife. So this to me at least right now, I don't know if it was that intention upon the time of creating this card, but it threw away that potato peeler this person even bought from me, and I kept on mentioning it over and over and over again that I had to do what this person wanted me to do, right? So very very controlling influence, and to be able to like say no again and again and again, like to even like throw it away, and then the person asking like, why don't you use a potato peeler? Well, because I threw it away in the garbage can, right? Like having to stand up for yourself over and over and over again, and being proud of yourself for being able to do that, right? So, which is quite the accomplishment. And so, this could also be that you are very proud of yourself that you have finally left a very controlling situation where you had to keep on defending yourself, you had to keep on standing up for yourself, saying no, setting boundaries, saying no to control, doing your own thing. So, it could be anything like that. And maybe also you were, because this can also perhaps talk about learning to peel potatoes and perhaps being proud of peeling potatoes. So it means like being able to have, to grow in certain skill, perhaps, right? So maybe as well as you are exiting, you are, maybe you are growing in a certain skill, and this skill will be very blessed. So as you are exiting this, the Truman Show, right, where everyone is watching you, or people, there are a lot of onlookers on your life, and you are coming back to yourself, you're perhaps like starting going to do something that is very very blessed in terms of a skill, or maybe it's becoming very very clear that you're very skillful at something as you are leaving, perhaps. So it could also have something to do with that, or that you have been very skillful at trying to shine your light in this situation, perhaps. So let's just see. And like at the like underneath, right, like what's literally at the bottom of the deck when I put the deck away in. But we these days I'm like even choosing these specifically, I'm asking God for these specifically as well, so I'm not just taking the one at the bottom. So, and what this is a new beginning and birth. And not quite sure which kind of fruit this is. I think it's probably, could be a fig perhaps, right? So new beginning and birth. And it says the nine of chalices. So yeah, isn't there like a card to go, like this card wanted to come up twice, and that was it This one wanted to also become the bottom of the deck as well, but then eventually I went for this card, right? So there is a connection here that I need to remember. So yeah, so being proud of yourself, this is like being proud of a new beginning, being proud of giving birth to something, to like you're making a new beginning because you're creating an exit strategy. You're also going to be very very like whatever you skill you're going to be um, doing next as you are moving into isolation, or perhaps how skillful you are right now. There's something perhaps even of a new beginning within existing talents. Maybe you're going to be maybe there's going to be much more likes on your work, perhaps on the talents you are already putting out there in the world. But there's and maybe you'll be receiving a lot more likes, a lot more feedback, a lot more positive feedback, a lot more appreciation perhaps. So it could be that, but it could also be that you are moving into a new skill that you're going to be doing, like learning a new skill, because that would be the potatoes, right? Learning a new skill, and you will be very proud of yourself because you're going to be very skillful at that, and it is very much blessed. It's in a divine alignment. It is something that is totally a talent of yours, maybe even a past life talent of yours, even because it does connect to that, right? So it could be a past life talent as well. And I'm getting chills, so that's a most definite yes. So there's something about a past life talent of yours that's coming back online as you are exiting the situation, and as you are starting to cleanse yourself in isolation, in to just living a very domestic life. And this is going to be very blessed, very very opportune, right place, right time, blessed unfolding, blessed by God, right? Definitely a past life talent of yours that you're going to be very, very gifted at, gifted talents, right? So that's pretty much what I'm seeing, and you're going to be receiving likes on this. People really like what you're going to be doing next. So yeah, and this is like the end of a chapter for you, and again a new beginning. So you are transitioning into a new beginning, and I think you're very proud of yourself right now that you have made a new beginning. So and the birth of this new skill that you're going to be trying out, which is actually a past life skill that you're going to be very very good at. So I'm wishing you a very very beautiful day ahead, and I hope this was helpful to you.